Job chapter 20. What is it like to talk with someone who will not stop stating the obvious over and over? Well, we're going to find out in Job chapter 20. And after looking in Job chapter 19, I feel convicted. So I want to be nice to Zophar. But to get through this, I'm going to need a lot of prayer. So please join me in prayer as we seek to understand Job chapter 20. Father in heaven, I need your help. Lord, this will fail without you miserably. It'll be a disaster. And so, Father, I pray that your grace would abound, your mercy would abound. And I pray for those listening that you would help them to be receptive to the truth that is found here in your word. Show us how to deal with people who keep stating the obvious. Lord, we want to go deep. Help us to do that, even in the teachings of Zophar. We know they are here for a reason. Please help us. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, hello, Zophar. I'm glad that we're going to be able to talk with you and find out why you said these things to Job.
Well, I'm glad that you decided to talk with me, but I am a little disappointed that I don't see any audience. Where are these people? They can't see me. I want them to be able to see me. I want them to know how unbelievably handsome I am. If they don't know how unbelievably handsome I am, how in the world are they going to receive what I have to say?
Wait, are you telling me that how you look has something to do with whether or not we should listen to you?
Of course, how you look has to do with what people should listen to. Do you not know what my name is? My name is Zophar the Naamathite. You know what Naamathite means? It means beautiful. I am Zophar the Beautiful. You need to tell these people how unbelievably handsome I am, and you need to do it now.
Okay, everybody, I just want you to know that this guy, he is unbelievably handsome. Man, look at those luscious locks and look at that smile. Oh, the twinkle in his eye. Wow. I imagine most people want to hear what he has to say.
Thank you very much. Nobody would want to listen to an ugly person. Why would anybody listen to what an ugly person has to say? Job, look at him over there. He's gotten very ugly. And I tell you what, people love beauty, and they will listen to people who are beautiful. And perhaps if you would listen to me, you might just become beautiful like me. A beautiful heart, beautiful mind, beautiful face. Is that not what people want today? Well, listen to my wisdom, and you too can be beautiful.
I don't know if it works that way, Zophar.
Of course it works that way. Where do you think beauty comes from? Beauty comes from the Lord. Beauty comes from the Lord. Wisdom comes from the Lord. Why would he bless me with beauty and not wisdom? Why would he bless anyone with beauty and not wisdom? It makes perfect sense. Now, stop distracting us from the actual text. Let's get into the word.
All right, let's do so. Well, in verse 1 of Job chapter 20, it says, Then Zophar the Naamathite answered. And I'm going to let you take it from here, Zophar.
Thank you. Verse 2. Therefore, my disquieting thoughts make me respond, even because of my inward agitation. I listen to the reproof which insults me, and the spirit of my understanding makes me answer.
Oh, Zophar, so you've had disquieting thoughts the whole time Job was talking?
Oh, yes. I barely could even understand anything he was saying. It was the ramblings of a madman. How could I listen to such a man? Such a man, I could not even look into his ugly face. But my thoughts were disquieted. I knew that I had to respond. And so the whole time my thoughts were disquieting, I could not quiet my own thoughts.
Well, you're telling me that you didn't really listen to Job.
Oh, I did. I listened to him insult me. I heard him insult me, and I knew I had to respond. I cannot let somebody insult somebody as beautiful as me and not respond. Someone as beautiful as me must take a stand against someone as ugly as Job. Don't you see that? Don't you have any discernment? Can't you see my beautiful face?
Okay, well, I get what you're saying there, But it says that you had inward agitation. Verse 2, you say that you had inward agitation.
Yes, that means that I was in a hurry. I was eager to say these things. I felt like it was bursting out of me. I had things that I just had to say, things that I needed to say because I had been insulted. How dare Job reprove a man like me?
Well, certainly, I don't think it would do any good to reproof a man like you.
Of course it wouldn't do any good to reprove a man like me. Why in the world would somebody even attempt to do such a thing?
Well, I don't think it would do much good. I agree with you there. It doesn't seem to be doing good at all.
Thank you very much.
So you say that the spirit of your understanding made you answer.
Yes, I have always had a very good understanding of things. I never have had any trouble understanding things. That is one of the things about me. I find that it is easy to understand things, and I am so troubled by these people who just don't get it. They just don't understand. And my heart goes out to them. Oh, that I could help them. Zophar the Beautiful could help them to understand things. That's where my heart is. That's the understanding of my heart. The spirit of my heart longs to share these things that come so easily to me, but apparently to folks like Job, they don't come very easily.
Well, Zophar, have you thought about this spirit? This spirit of your understanding? What kind of spirit that is? I mean, do you think there might be a possibility you need to test that spirit to see whether it is from God, whether it's a spirit from God, or if it's a spirit from some other force?
Oh, no, not at all. Such an idea has never even entered my mind. Now, come on now. You know that my spirit has always been with me, and I've always been able to trust it. Why in the world would I even question it? Oh, you're starting to sound like one of those people who want to question everything. Why question? Why question? Just let me answer. And that's all there is to it. Now, come along. Let's continue on in the text. I'm going to pick up in verse 4. This is what I said to Job. Do you know this from old, from the establishment of man on earth, that the triumph of the wicked is short, and the joy of the godless is momentary?
Oh, so you're bringing up some ancient wisdom here.
Yes, of course. These are things that he should have known from old. Job should have known these things ever since we were children. He should never have forgotten these truths. I don't know what happened to him. But he should know these things. These things are tried and true. They are tested over time. I don't know how in the world he has forgotten them. They are from the establishment of man on earth. That means that when God established mankind, he established these tried and true things. They do not change. They do not alter. They do not need to be questioned. Only a complete ignorant person would question these things. You don't question my beauty, do you? Then why would you question the spirit that makes me answer? Job, in his afflictions, perhaps it's not only affecting his body, it's affecting his mind. His mind must be affected because he does not even understand things that a 5-year-old would understand. A 5-year-old would understand these things from old, from when we were children. I just don't get it. Well, the triumphing of the wicked is short. Now that is true.
Really, Zophar? So you're telling me that you can't think of any times when a wicked person has triumphed?
Well, maybe there have been times when a wicked person has triumphed, but it is always short, always short.
So a wicked person has never reigned for a very long time and had power for a long time?
Did you not hear what I said? The establishment of the wicked is short. They will not last. They will not, they cannot, and it is as simple as that. Let me explain it to you further. Before you question me, let me explain it in my own words as I spoke them to Job. I feel like you need to hear the same things that I said to Job. You're asking some of these same silly questions, and well, I just don't have the time for that. You know, I am Zophar. I have places to be, things to do. Now, come along. Let us keep reading. Let's pick up here in verse 5. That the triumph of the wicked is short, and the joy of the godless is momentary. Now, surely you understand that. There is no lasting joy for the godless. So you're telling Job that whatever joy that he once had, it's gone because he's godless. Exactly. You're finally getting it. You're finally getting it. Yes. Job once had some forms of joy, but he must be godless because it's not there anymore.
Well, do you have joy, Zophar?
Oh, yes, I have such great joy, and the beauty of my face, my countenance brings joy to so many others. Oh, yes, they see my smile, and it just warms hearts.
Is that going to be momentary? Is that going to last?
Oh, it will last. I assure you it will last, because it comes from God.
So there's no chance that your beauty could fade. There's no chance that your joy and happiness could go away one day.
I'm not going to sit there and think about such things. My beauty fading? It never has. It never has to this day. I find that I only grow more and more beautiful every day. People admire me from afar. Oh, yes, they do. Oh, yes, they do. I love to have my portraits made, and those, of course, will last. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. My joy only grows further. But Job, I think he's jealous. He insults me. He must be jealous. Well, let me continue on. Verse 6. Though his loftiness reaches the heavens, and his head touches the clouds, he perishes forever like his refuse. Those who have seen him will say, where is he? He flies away like a dream, and they cannot find him. Even like a vision of the night, he is chased away. The eye which saw him sees him no longer, and his place no longer beholds him. Now, wasn't that beautiful what I had to say to Job? Oh, isn't it just poetic? Oh, sometimes I amaze myself with how beautiful my words are. Surely you're not going to argue with words that flow so beautifully.
Well, you basically just said the same thing you said before. The triumphing of the wicked is short. It's momentary. You just said it in a different way.
What's your point? I don't see what your point is here. I don't see what your point is at all. I am saying it in a beautiful way. I am giving him these wonderful, beautiful sayings. I mean, think about it. Though his loftiness reaches to the heavens. Think of it. Loftiness. Wasn't that a beautiful way of putting it? It tugs at my heart as I hear my own words. As I hear my own words, I want to cry. Look, there's a tear in my eye. It's so beautiful what I said. How could you argue against something so beautiful?
So you're saying Job was lofty. His loftiness had seemed to reach the heavens, and his head had touched the clouds. Is that how you saw Job?
It seemed that way when we were friends.
Wait, I thought you still were friends.
It seemed that way. It seemed that he was a lofty man. I even looked up to him. He helped me many times before. We were good friends, but it did not last. That's what I'm saying here. It doesn't matter how high he once was, how great people once thought he was, or how many people he helped. None of that matters. All that matters is where he is right now. And right now, he has proven himself. How can you argue with such beautiful eloquence? How can you not put your faith in my understanding? How can you not just accept what is so incredibly clear? So incredibly clear. Well, let me try to help you. Let me read a little more. His head touches the clouds. Oh, oh, what a beautiful thing. Yes, Job's head seemed to have touched the clouds.
So you're talking about when he had all those kids and God was blessing the work of his hands.
Well, don't assume that it was God blessing the work of his hands.
Well, where do blessings come from?
Uh, it doesn't matter how high he ascended. It does not matter.
Well, you said that good things only come from God, like your beauty only comes from God. So if Job had all these wonderful things at some point, it must have come from God. Where else could it have come from?
Enough of this. This is simple. I don't know why you have to complicate things. I don't know why you have to complicate something that is so incredibly simple. I just don't get it. What is wrong with you? Did you have parents who taught you? Do you not understand this? Why would you question something that is so blatantly clear? Yes, he perishes forever. Let me help you. Let me pick up in verse 7. If I keep talking, maybe you'll understand. Because clearly,
I think I understand what you're saying.
clearly you don't understand. You keep questioning, so clearly you don't understand. I haven't questioned you, have I? Listen to the answer that I have right here in verse 7. He perishes forever like refuse. Those who have seen him will say, "Where is he?" Now, don't you understand now what I'm trying to say? He perishes forever like refuse. Those who have seen him will say, "Where is he?" Verse 7. Maybe that ought to tuck some sense into you. Oh, yes, he was up high in the clouds and things seemed really good, but how do you explain him perishing like refuse?
Zophar, what do you think about refuse?
Well, refuse is something that needs to be gotten rid of as quickly as possible. And all of Job's blessings, all of the things that he had, did God not get rid of them as quickly as possible? Just as we want to get rid of our refuse as quickly as possible? Because it's foul, it's gross. And he perishes forever. Forever.
So you're saying that you think Job is going to perish forever. So when he dies, what happens to him?
When we die, we perish. That's all. That's it.
So you don't think there's more to it than this life?
The spirit of my understanding has never caused me to consider such things. The spirit of my understanding is chiefly concerned with what we see. And you're talking about things that cannot be seen. I am not going to entertain such thoughts, such questions. I see for myself. Can you not see what happened to Job? He was once high and lofty, and now he has been brought low. He will perish forever like refuse. He cannot come back from this. Once he dies, that's it. God is getting rid of him like filth, and all of his blessings will be gone as well. Those who have seen him will say, "Where is he?" Many already are. Many avoid him, yes, but many soon will say, "Where has he gone? Where has he gone?" I've heard this already. Soon enough, he will be gone forever. He will never be found again. You will not find Job. Even though everyone knew where he was so high, everyone knew of him. Soon, no one will know.
Well, I mean, are you so sure about that?
Of course, I'm sure about that.
You've never stopped to question these things. You just hang on to them. Regardless, you're certain that Job is going to perish forever and no one's ever going to be able to find him.
I said it. I wouldn't have said anything that I'm not sure about. I think I've made it quite clear. But just wait. I'm really proud of the next verse. The next verse, I think, will really answer your question, and I think it will actually silence your question. You'll think foolish to have even ask such a question as that when you see just how beautiful what I had to say in verse 8 is. Oh, I'm so proud of verse 8. Listen to this. Listen to this. He flies away like a dream, and they cannot find him. Even like a vision of a night, he is chased away. Now, surely that convinces you. Surely that convinces you what happened to Job. He is going to perish, flying away like a dream. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that a beautiful way of putting it? How can you argue with such beautiful poetry?
Well, I guess it's beautiful, but I don't.
Oh, I see what's wrong with you. You don't understand poetry. You're just not one of these enlightened individuals that can really grasp beauty. You don't appreciate beauty. That's your problem right there. Oh, the pearls before swine. Huh. Here are my beautiful wisdoms. I'm putting them down, and I'm afraid you just can't appreciate them.
Well, I mean, I don't deny that it's very poetic. It is, but just because it's beautiful poetry, just because it sounds so nice.
Oh, yes, it does sound nice, doesn't it? I mean, look what I said about flying away like a dream. You've ever had a good dream, and then you woke up the next morning and you felt like, oh no, it's all gone. Well, that's Job. All of his blessings, they seemed like just a good dream, and now he's waking up to reality.
Seems more to me like he's waking up to a nightmare.
See, that's not beautiful. That's not a beautiful way of putting it. I said it much more beautifully than you, and when you say things like that, it just. ugh, you're distracting. You're distracting from my flow. This is beautiful. Now stop it. I'm making a very good point, and I do not need any distractions from this. Now look, he flies away like a dream. That means that all of the people, they're not going to be able to find him. They may try, but he's flown away like a dream.
Well, you've already said that. You're just saying it again in a different way, but it's the same thing you already said. You're not adding to your argument. You're just repeating yourself in different ways.
I am saying it in poetic form. It's beautiful. It's persuasive. I think most people are going to agree with me. I think they are. Just listen to your heart. Listen to your heart. Don't my words tell your heart that what I say is true. Forget about all of your questions and allow what I say to affect your heart. Allow the beauty of my words to convince you that what I have to say is true. Oh, yes, I repeat them again and again. But that's because they are so beautiful. They're so beautiful, they're worth repeating, and I repeat them again and again. Listen, listen to your heart. Like a dream, they cannot find him. Is that not true? Oh, yes, it is true. Like a vision of the night, he is chased away. That's Job. Job has been chased away. I know that's true because I said it in such a beautiful way.
Well, you don't entertain any other possibility? I mean, could there not be
Any other possibility would be ugly, would not paint a beautiful picture. This is the beauty of God's work. According to the spirit of my understanding, no. According to the spirit of my understanding, God does not contradict himself, and nothing will contradict these words. These words will stand true. It really makes me sad how people just don't understand things. It really makes me sad. I find that they ought to know these things by now. Oh, those poor fools. But let me continue on. I will continue on in verse 9. The eye which saw him sees him no longer, and his place no longer beholds him. Oh, yes, that's what's happened here.
Well, we've kind of already established that. Job just said the same thing. Why are you saying it again?
I said it in a beautiful way, and it means that what I'm saying lines up with what I said again and again. The wicked's time is short. How have you misunderstood me? How have you misunderstood something that is so simple? How have you misunderstood something that is so clear and plain as day? I can't take it anymore. How in the world can you not get it? Now listen. I'm feeling that same inward agitation again. My thoughts are disquieting me.
All right. Let's get through the chapter, okay?
Thank you. Okay, listen. I have to say this. This is so important. What I said to Job was so important. I have to say it again. Verse 10. His sons favor the poor, and his hands give back his wealth. His bones are full of youthful vigor, but lies down with him in the dust.
So basically, you're just saying that his sons are going to like poor people, but Job's sons are dead.
Well, I mean, this is what they used to say. I mean, this is, you're missing the point, okay? His hands give back his wealth.
Job didn't give his wealth back. It was taken from him.
Well, you're interrupting the flow of my poem. Now stop it. This is poetry. And poetry needs to be taken in. You need to stop analyzing it. You don't analyze poetry. What in the world? Have you ever learned anything about creativity at all? Do you know anything about poems? You have to embrace the flow. Now, please, stop questioning everything.
All right, but I just want to know. I mean, your wisdom, if it's so great as you say, then help me.
Oh, the vexation, the anxiety, inward agitation. Stop, you're giving me more of it. I said it. How could it be not more simple? His bones are full of youth and vigor. That means that he was still young. The wicked man dies when he is young.
Well, Job's bones don't seem to be full of youth and vigor. So that means what you're saying isn't really lining up.
That's again. Here you are analyzing beautiful poetry. You need to just be taking it in with your heart. Why in the world will you not just take it in? Please, come on. If you would just take in what I say, it would feel so good.
Well, I don't want to take in something that's not true.
It's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. Just let your heart take it. The spirit that gives me understanding will assure your heart as well. You don't need to question it. The spirit that guides me can guide you. Just let it in. It's beautiful, is it not? Yes.
Well, I don't even know if it's that beautiful.
What? Not that beautiful? Oh, you can't even recognize beauty when you see it. Oh, you're blind to beauty, blind to art. You are an ignoramus. Well, it does lie down with him in the dust. Look at Job, lying there in the dust. It does not last.
Yes. So you've taken all this time to say, basically, the triumph of the wicked is short, and you've just added all this flowery language to try to just keep saying the same thing over and over, but you really haven't said anything. It seems that you're just really good at saying a whole lot of nothing.
It may be nothing to you. Oh, once again. I tuned you out there again. My thoughts were disquieting me. I don't know. My thoughts were disquieting me again. I have to go on. Let's continue in my response to Job. Come on now. Ah, yes, here we are. Verse 12. Though evil is sweet in his mouth, and he hides it under his tongue. Verse 12. Though evil is sweet in his mouth, and he hides it under his tongue, though he desires it, and it will not let go, but it holds its mouth. Yet his food in his stomach is changed to the venom of cobras within him. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Let's just take a moment and admire the beauty of these words. I believe scholars for centuries will be studying my words, admiring their beauty. Evil is sweet in his mouth, and he hides it under his tongue.
Wait, you're saying that Job found evil to be sweet, that he enjoyed doing evil.
Will you continually vex me? Will you continually cause me this inward agitation? I am trying to respond. And you're not listening. Will you continually vex me? Will you continually cause me this inward agitation? Oh, once again. I tuned you out there again. My thoughts were disquieting me. I have to go on. Let's continue in my response to Job. Come on now. Ah, yes, here we are. Verse 12. Though evil is sweet in his mouth, and he hides it under his tongue, though he desires it, and it will not let go, but it holds its mouth. Yet his food in his stomach is changed to the venom of cobras within him. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Let's just take a moment and admire the beauty of these words. I believe scholars for centuries will be studying my words, admiring their beauty. Evil is sweet in his mouth, and he hides it under his tongue.
Wait, you're saying that Job found evil to be sweet, that he enjoyed doing evil.
You are not listening. Are you listening to anything I say, or are you just thinking about what you want to say? Come on. Stop just thinking about what you want to say and listen to what I have to say. What I mean is evil is sweet in his mouth. It ought to be a vile thing to him, and yet he enjoys it. He hides it under his tongue. He doesn't want us to know. That's why he appears to be innocent to others. Or at least, that's why in the past he appeared to be innocent, but now we see he's not. We see that he hides it under his tongue.
I don't know if Job is the one hiding it under his tongue. You seem to have a forked tongue.
Excuse me? What did you say?
You certainly have a silver tongue, a beautiful tongue.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Do you think people can hide their evil underneath their tongue? They can have evil, but if they talk really beautifully, then they can get away with all kinds of Wickedness?
Well, that would be true of someone like Job. Yes, Job, I think he is trying to hide evil. He does say some beautiful things, but yes, he's hiding evil under what he says. Well, continue verse 13. Though he desires it and will not let it go, behold, it is in his mouth.
So you're saying Job has evil in his mouth and he won't let it go.
Yes, he has evil in his mouth.
I talked to Job yesterday and I saw nothing but love, even for you, Zophar. How is that? How is that evil?
Ah, just as I said, he's hiding it under his tongue. He may say all those wonderful things. He may say that he's still our friend. But if he was my friend, he would listen. He would not insult me as he has. If he was my friend, he would not hide it by saying other words. Ah, he is a vile creature. Well, though he desires it, he will not let it go.
Let go of what?
The things he's holding on to, the things that he desires, the evil that he desires, he will not let it go. That's Job for you. He is such a vile creature. He holds evil in his mouth. And do you know what happens then? Let me tell you. Verse 14. Yet the food in his stomach is changed, for the venom of cobras is within him. Venom comes from his mouth. He speaks poison, poison lies.
Job does this.
Yes, Job does this. And we know it to be true. Look at him.
Oh, okay. I think I get the picture.
Thank you. He swallows riches, but they will vomit them up. God will expel them from his belly.
Well, you're saying Job swallowed riches.
Yes, he swallowed riches. He was so wealthy, the most wealthy man in the land. He swallowed them. And now he's vomiting them up. God does this. God will expel them.
Okay, that's a different way of putting it. He's puking up all of his riches. Okay. He's puking up everything that he once enjoyed.
Yes, he said that himself. He no longer can enjoy the delicacies. Continuing, can I please continue? Look in verse 16. He sucks out the poison of cobras. The viper's tongue slays him.
Viper, the serpent? That's what's getting him, the serpent? I think you might be right about that there's a serpent going after him.
Oh, yes. The serpent is after him. He does not look at streams, the rivers flowing with honey and curds. No longer can Job enjoy these things he used to enjoy. Now he'll just vomit them up. Now he has poison. He is sick. Yes.
Okay, Zophar. I feel like something. Oh, okay. So, he can't look at good things because he's got poison. He's got poison of cobras.
Yes.
And he's listened to the viper's tongue.
Yes. He's listened to the viper's tongue.
But he won't listen to you.
No, he won't listen to me. If he would just listen to me, he wouldn't be slain. He would not die if he would listen to me. But instead of listening to my tongue, And the spirit that is within me, he listens to the viper.
Oh.
And I expect you and those listening to hear me. Otherwise, they'll be listening to the viper.
Okay. I think I get your point.
So do you agree with what I'm saying?
I want to hear more. Let's keep going. Verse 18.
Ah, yes. Verse 18. He returns what he has attained and cannot swallow it. As to the riches of his trading, he cannot even enjoy them, for he has oppressed and forsaken the poor. He has seized a house which he has not built.
Are these things true? I mean, they sound good, but are they really true? Did he return what he has attained?
Yes, he has returned them. Ah, I'm vexed again. I am vexed again.
But you said that he can't enjoy them. But that he doesn't have any riches.
He said he can't enjoy them. Look at his body. Food has become loathsome to him. It's just as I said.
Oh, I see. But Job hasn't oppressed and forsaken the poor at all. We know that he was a very generous man.
I do not.
Job hasn't oppressed the poor at all. Job, he traded but blessed many people. People around the world were blessed by Job. How do you say he's oppressed and forsaken the poor? How could you say that? That can't possibly be true. A house that he has not built? How in the world could you even insinuate that? God bless the work of his hands. He built homes for all of his children. How could you even say that he would seize a house that wasn't his?
Excuse me? I'm sorry. While you were talking, my thoughts had disquieted within me. I do not even know what you were saying. All I know is I'm ready to move on. Oh, good gracious. Can we please move on? Can we please? I have other things I need to say. Now, listen. Listen. Verse 20. Because he knew quiet within him, he does not retain anything he desires. Nothing remains for him to devour. Therefore his property does not endure. In the fullness of his plenty he will be cramped. The hand of everyone who suffers will come against him when he fills his belly. God will send his fierce anger on him, and it will rain on him while he is eating. Oh, now, wasn't that lovely? Wasn't that beautiful? Almost as beautiful as me. We know it to be true. Can you argue with these words? Job has no quiet within him.
Well, yes, I believe that's true. He's been tormented continually. He does not retain anything he desires, yeah.
He does not retain anything he desires. Can you argue with that?
I would say that he has lost his desires. Yes, he has lost his desires. His desires have been removed from him.
Nothing remains for him to devour?
Yeah, nothing remains. He's lost it all.
So you can't argue with that either. So you've been a fool to question me. I cannot believe you have wasted my time like this. His property does not endure. Is that not true?
Well, I mean, he still has his property. He still.
No, he does not. He said it himself. His own servants won't let him in. And you think it will last? It is overrun. It is overtaken. Raids and bandits will come again. It will certainly not endure. Ah, you're just trying anything you could think of to try to disagree with me. Just coming up with any reason whatsoever to disagree with me. You don't like the truth because it's painful to you, and so you'll come up with anything to disagree. Instead of just accepting the obvious, instead of just accepting what's plain as the nose on your face, you'll come up with any scheme, any type of way to try to avoid what's obviously true. Oh, this is just terrible. Oh, you are such a terrible audience. I am not used to this kind of thing. I'm used to applause. I'm used to people clapping and telling me how beautiful it is. I am not used to people coming up with any reason whatsoever to disagree. Oh, here I am trying to. Here I am trying to help someone. Here I am trying to say something that might be of benefit, but
What's wrong? What's wrong, Zophar?
Inward agitation.
Oh, did I agitate you?
Yes, you agitate me very much.
Well, why don't we look more at what you had to say?
Okay.
You say that in verse 22, you say that the fullness of his plenty will be cramped. Now, what does that mean?
Locked up. Cramped means locked up. All of the things he once had there locked away, never for him to touch again. And did you not see what I say in the next line? The hand of everyone who suffers will come against him. Everyone who suffers are coming against him. We see this taking place right now. Look at these children. Look at these urchins. Look at these pitiful servants. They have nothing. And they have taken over his house. They have taken over his home. And Job is overrun. And he refuses to accept help from friends like me. Can't you see it? Verse 23. When he filled his belly.
I don't remember Job filling his belly.
Silence! When he fills his belly, God will send his fierce anger on him and will rain it on him while he is eating.
Okay. You're saying God's angry with him?
Yes, can't you see that?
Job's admitted as much.
He did?
Yeah, were you not paying attention?
No. I mean, yes, I heard him insult me. But my thoughts, I had disquieting thoughts. I was preparing to respond.
Well, maybe you should have paid attention to what Job had to say. I mean, he acknowledged this.
Well, maybe he did acknowledge that part, but he did not acknowledge the reason why, and that is that he filled his belly. God's anger has rained down while he's eating.
Job filling his belly? Fire raining down on him? I haven't seen Job eat in a long time. He's not eating. What are you talking about?
His family ate every day, and fire came down while they were feasting. Do you not see it? Do you not see it clearly? Are you that blind? Are you that blind that you have to come up with these vain excuses not to agree with me? Well, let me keep on reading. Verse 24. He may flee from the iron weapon, but the bronze bow will pierce him. Job will not get away. He flees.
Where's he running to? He's lying there in the ash. What are you talking about? What about this? The iron weapon. What iron weapon is coming against him?
Ah, yes. The iron weapon of God, of course. God has come against him. God has come to destroy him. He cannot flee. If he does, the bronze bow will pierce him. He cannot get away.
He said as much, Zophar. You're just repeating things again.
Well, just listen. Just listen. Can't you just listen for once? Instead of always trying to disagree with everything that someone says. I heard you giving Bildad a hard time, and I was appalled at this. Now, listen. Listen to what I say. Verse 25. It draws forth and comes out of his back, even the glittering point from his gall. Terrors come upon him.
Okay. So the Lord struck him with an arrow. He's already said this. He's already said this. You must not have been listening to him at all. God has struck him with his arrow that he is bleeding. He does not need you to repeat this. He's already said it. You obviously weren't listening.
What were you saying? I'm sorry. I was vexed within myself. My disquieting thoughts once again. I had disquieting thoughts. Now let me respond. I don't know what you said, but I must respond. I must respond. Let's see here. Yes, I know what to say. Terror comes upon him.
Yes, he's already said that. He's already acknowledged that.
Complete darkness, verse 26. Complete darkness is held in reserve for his treasures. An unfanned flame will devour him. It will consume him in the survivors of his tent.
Seem pretty happy about this. You're glad the stuff is happening to Job? Terrors and darkness? I mean, you seem really joyful that this is happening. It seems to be some type of malice. I want to try to be nice to you, but that's just cruel. Aren't you sad for Job? He was begging for pity. Aren't you going to give him some type of pity? You're just going to keep throwing these things out? Yes, he's being devoured, an unfanned fire. I suppose that means a fire that is just going to never go away. It's just going to keep consuming him. It's going to consume him even in his home. I mean,
What did you say? I did not hear any of that. I have to respond. My disquieting thoughts once again. You agitate me. You really agitate me. You know this? Oh, okay. Listen, I will respond. Verses 27 through 29. Let me just finish my speech. Will you please? Will you please just let me finish what I am saying? The heavens will reveal his iniquity, and the earth will rise up against him. The increase of his house will depart. His possessions will flow away in the day of his anger. This is the wicked man's portion from God, even the heritage decreed to him by God. Now you hear it. Now I have responded. Finally, after this disquieting agitation, I'm finally able to get it all out.
wow, you must have some spirit within you causing you to respond.
Indeed, I do.
The heavens will reveal his iniquity. You mean God is going to reveal his iniquity?
Yes. I don't need to reveal his iniquity. It's being revealed already by the heavens. It's clear.
Well, what is his iniquity?
I don't have to reveal it. The heavens will.
Okay. The earth is going to rise up against him.
Yes, can't you see it already has? The forces of this world have mobilized against him. Clearly, we all see this.
The increase of his house will depart. Once again, you're reminding him that he lost his children.
Yes. Yes, he knows this, but he seems to forget it.
I don't think he's forgetting it.
Well, we must not let him forget these things. We mustn't.
What are you trying to get out of this? What's the point of hitting him with all this stuff? What is it you want him to do? Why are you telling him all of these horrible things?
I just want him to accept what I say. Believe what I say.
And what do you think's going to happen if he believes what you say? You think it's going to help him at all?
He insulted me. He insulted me. Why should I care what happens to him?
But he's your friend. He cares about you.
If God is mad at him, then the spirit within me rages against him as well. The day of God's anger is my anger, and I despise him as well.
What? So you're not trying to help him?
Oh, how can anyone help a man like that? I think that if he would just believe what we tell him, but he's stubborn. He refuses. He cannot be helped. He is beyond help.
So why are you even talking to him?
The spirit within me. I told you, the spirit within me beckons me to respond. I must answer him.
Why not just walk away?
The spirit within me. This is the wicked man's portion from God, even the heritage decreed to him by God.
Okay. I've had it. Zophar, you are the worst. When I said it in chapter 11, that was an understatement. You are far worse. You know what spirit you have within you? I believe it is the spirit of the Antichrist. You have an evil spirit within you. It seems that every word that you are saying is meant to torment Job. Whatever spirit is compelling you to speak is compelling you to torment Job. Oh, yes, what you have to speak is beautiful, but like the tongue of a serpent. Everything you have to say sounds like the sounds of a serpent. Oh, yes, and it's woven together and it appears to be beautiful, but there's no depth. There's no insight. There's no thought in there. You're simply saying the same things over and over and over. You sound like a corrupt politician. You seem to be an expert at saying a whole lot of nothing. And what would Job get from believing the things that you're saying? It wouldn't help him at all. It seems that the spirit that is within you is trying to get Job to curse God. Come on, man. No wonder you're the worst. You know, you're Captain Obvious. That's what we called you last time. Captain Obvious. You say that he is wicked again and again, but you offer no proof. You say the heavens will give evidence to that, but you don't give any proof for it other than outward things, what he looks like, what he's going through, his experiences, but you don't have any actual reason to believe that. You seem to think Job has no heritage from God. Did you even listen to anything he said in the last chapter? He said in the last chapter that he was looking forward to heaven, that he was looking forward to his Redeemer. His Redeemer lives, that he would see God. He clearly talked about hope for something outside of this life, but I am convinced from listening to you that you're not interested at all in anything outside of this world, outside of this life. You're saying that the heritage decreed to him by God, you conclude with that? Well, what heritage? You think that what's happening to him will be his heritage, that that's the end? You seem to think that's all this life is about. You know, we were warned in 1 John chapter 4. Do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God. The spirits of this world, they speak from the world. They're from the world and they speak from the world. You're speaking from the world. Sure, you're speaking eloquently, and maybe some of the things you have to say might be beautiful poetry, but man, it's a joke. The things that you're saying are cruel, mean, vicious. They're not from the Spirit of God, the Spirit of love. These things aren't coming from a heart that loves. Whatever spirit is within you must be evil, must be wicked.
What? I, ah, my thoughts are disquieted once again. I need to get away. My inward agitation. How can you be so stupid? How can you be so foolish? I just can't get over it. My disquieting thoughts. Oh, please, I'm out of here. I hope I never have to talk to you again. I can't take it anymore. You shall not behold my beautiful face again.
Well, so long, Zophar. Oh, Lord, help us. Oh, let's pray. Father, Lord, I pray that you would protect anyone from believing a word that guy says. And Lord, I pray that you'd help me. Help me to have the kind of love that Job has. Lord, help us as we think about these things, not to listen to the silver-tongued voice of the serpent. We pray and we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.